Because the Atlantic hurricane season has been so quiet, you might have trouble naming any of the 7 storms that have formed. In fact, it's even possible you could name one of the typhoons that has formed in the Western Pacific because they've received a lot of news coverage, the most recent being a super typhoon named Vong. Now, up until 1999, tropical cyclones in the Western Pacific were named in the same way as in the Atlantic and Eastern Pacific, using people's names with a distinctly American flavor. For example, some of the more prominent typhoons in 1999 were Leo, Maggie, Kate, Gloria, and Bart. Hardly names that mean much in the countries in that part of the world. But starting the next year, in a dramatic departure from tradition, the 14 nations and territories in that part of the world, including Malaysia, Vietnam, China, Japan, and the 2 Koreas, switched to a very different naming system that uses mostly Asian words from various themes such as animals, plants, and natural phenomena. The names are sorted alphabetically by the countries that submitted them, each country providing 10 names. They're arranged into 5 lists, and when you get to the bottom of one list, you just go to the top of the next, different than in the Atlantic, where there's a new list every year. Here's some examples of names used this year in the Western Pacific. Nacre is a kind of flower in Cambodia. Kamari is the Japanese name for the constellation Corona Borealis that resembles a crown. Fanphone is a Laotian term meaning animal, while Vong Phong, submitted by Macau, means wasp in Cantonese. Confusing matters a bit, some typhoons actually get 2 names. Since 1963, the Philippine Weather Service has assigned Filipino names to storms that enter their area of responsibility, a huge region that covers about 1.6 million square miles. That's half the size of the contiguous U.S. So any storm in this area gets both the local Filipino name and the more widely recognized international name. A good example was the very destructive typhoon Haiyan from November of last year, which is the deadliest typhoon on record in the Philippines, killing at least 6,300 people in that country alone when it made landfall with winds estimated at 150 miles per hour. But in the Philippines, this storm is not known as Haiyan, it's known as Yolanda. Both Haiyan and Yolanda have been retired from their respective lists, similar to what is done for unusually powerful or destructive Atlantic hurricanes. Though Japan is often associated with typhoons, most of the time they weaken to tropical storms before affecting the most populated areas of the country, bringing mainly heavy rain, big surf, and minimal wind damage. That's been the case with Vong Phong, which crossed the islands the last few days. The tropical Atlantic has actually come to life in the last week. Fred will likely have something to say about that in our extended forecast next.